ranking God of War special attacks from worst to best. Hello and welcome to ExtremeGameplays, where I play games stylishly. Today, I'm turning another simple top 5 idea into an entire big project. Wow, what a surprise! Today's video is gonna be about ranking the special attacks from the absolute worst to the best from every God of War Greek game. Special attacks are these attacks that you can execute with every weapon in the franchise. This will be only the hold L1 and press a button type attacks, okay? It's not gonna be the held inputs or evade attacks or sprint attacks or anything, just special attacks. And God of War happens to have a lot of those. An average of 3 special attacks for every weapon from every game, matter of fact. By the way, SMH. The Norse games don't really have special attacks in the same sense, since it's a whole different combat approach. They will not be included in this humongous Among Us list. So this ranking will be the absolute worst to the absolute best. Doesn't matter if we only get to use the weapon once in the game or whatever. This is about how effective the special attack happens to be in its own right, in its own game. And of course, at the end of the video, you will get your top 5 definitive best special attacks list, you know, since this is a whole ranking. This video took me through all stages of grief to get it done. We'll be covering a whopping 57 special attacks from the entire God of War franchise. Now the video will start a bit quickly, since there are a lot of really bad special attacks that we'll have to go through in this entire video, so it's gonna get slowed down later and get more in-depth talks about the special attacks. Just know that the first couple of at least 20 special attacks will not get a lot of talk out of me. And man, the top 10 that I had to choose were freaking hard to write down. I went through several writer's blocks to get the script done. If you enjoy analytical combat talk videos like these, make sure to like and subscribe, as this was harder to make than childbirth. With that said, without further ado, let's kick this video into starting, I guess. Coming in first here as the absolute worst special attack in the entirety of God of War, we got the pristine Titan Smoker coming in last with the pathetic enemy milker move. It's called Divine Sacrifice. Now I'd like to call this the enemy milker, since it literally just milks the enemies dry off of red orbs. The MC5 saw this idea, stole it, and thought I wouldn't notice. This attack does no damage to the enemies. All it does is drain red orbs from the enemies. In New Game Plus, where we are bored out of red orbs in the first place. In New Game Plus, where most of the time we're even maxed out. Yeah. The very bottom of the list in today's ranking, chat. DMC5 did it way more stylishly and gaily. Get your cowboy gay dance correct next time. Moving on to the next special attack, we have Athena's Gift, Feet Picks. The Blade of the Gods in God of War 1 has this move called Athena's Gift. We use this weapon only once at the end of the game, and the balancing of it is all over the place. The attack itself is about as effective as Athena's plan to not piss off Kratos when she opens her mouth in literally every game. Like, what is my man's blood doing? Atropos should have really broke that sword before ever letting me watch this atrocity of an attack. Blood thinks he's doing the air attack with the blades or something. But seriously, let's imagine this move in normal gameplay, and well, what even is this attack? Just 2 simple taps. Let's move on. If you thought Athena's Gift was goofy, then oh boy, you are not ready for what we have next. Like, you're simply not. Like, you know, click off the video right now. I doubt you'll ever get ready to watch the next placement of the list. The attack that dethrones and deep throats Athena's gift is Zeus's Gift. Again, executed with the Blade of the Gods. What the hell happened when Ares stripped Kratos from his powers, man? Like, what went wrong? This man started losing all of his technique all of a sudden. What you see on the screen is pretty clear, a flurry of attacks ending in a slam. Again, can't really judge the usability of this since we don't have it in normal gameplay, but even if we did, what even is this move? What's going on? Why is the animation that long? What would your wife say about... Oh, she's dead. The Blade of the Gods is so far catching stray L's. Moving on to the next one, we got Poseidon's Gift with the Blade of the Gods again. I know this may seem like a hate boner towards the weapon, but seriously, what is this? This is one of those cyclonic moves Kratos was so known for in the genre. This is the Kratos. This is the spinning Kratos everybody kept talking about. I honestly don't know what to say about this, dog. Just overall a long animation with not much going into it. And again, we can't judge its usability in the main game. You know, maybe one day with the help of mods, I'll try to use it in the main game against enemies, but hey, no promises for now. And even then, that's just a mod. For now, this is one of the attacks of all time. Next up on the list, we got the Blade of Artemis special attack, the Retribution of Artemis. This attack sees Kratos doing a seemingly powerful cleave that leaves him quite open at the end. Now this attack looks cool at a quick glance, but upon further inspection, you realize it's a piece of shit. This attack is way too slow and the damage is never worth it to do. I would have loved it a ton more if the damage was doubled or something, you know, like even tripled, but it's not. Very bad special attack right there. Very bad special attack. It gets especially funny when you realize that this is an attack that you can do normally with the Blade of Artemis, and it's cancelable. It actually just punts the enemy, sets them up for an awesome home run technique by Kratos, the ultimate golf player. But seriously, this attack is available in your normal strengths with the Blade of Artemis, and it's available as a special attack, and it is 10 times worse as a special attack. Like, I can see the potential of this one going in two different routes. One route being it dealing literally 3 or 4 times the damage that it deals right here, but takes a bit longer to land. That way you kind of have like an Executioner's type cleave attack, you know, like Executioner's cleave type attack, not Executioner's type cleave attack, okay? You heard me right. It can either go that damaging route, or as a nice setup tool where Kratos just instantly slams the enemy, bouncing them, setting them up for a home run or for an air grab or for whatever. Next up on the list, we got the Wrath of Artemis. Very shitty attack with many hits, all of whom deal trash damage. I would only use it if I was bored and wanted to do something different for no reason at all, so I don't really have a lot to say about this. The next special attack on the list, Broken Destiny with the Ice Element. Just really nailing it down for the franchise. Bravo, good fucking job on botching almost every special attack in this godforsaken game. It's a clap, ladies and gentlemen. Kratos claps the ops. Is that what you wanted to hear? Or what's that? How's the range? The range is good, the targeting is good, the recovery is good. It's just that the point of the attack is to deal damage, and it does a poor job doing so. Just like every other special attack in Ascension. Oh my god! Ascension special attacks suck. They don't fuck, they suck. You know, I sometimes look at the special attack and wonder what it could have been. If only the element's damage increased as you fucking upgraded them. Like, what the hell went wrong here? Next up, we got another attack akin to the, you know, Blade of Artemis, Retribution of Artemis attack, the Cleave. Hades' Gift with the Blade of the Gods. This is a really cool looking attack. That's it. That's the ranking of this special attack. At least with this one, you can charge it for more damage. You know, you never know, since this is still just Ares, it's not even a normal enemy. It even looks very dominant as well. Like, I can imagine myself if I could have access to this blade in actual gameplay, setting an enemy up, like, you know, launching them and then charging it as the enemy lands and just cleaving them in half. Only one way to find out, and it's through mods or a remake or a remaster. That's 3 ways, not 1 way, but you heard me. But there is truthfully no better place to rank it at the moment. We don't have access to this whole weapon in the game except for when we're fighting Ares, and that's about it for the special attack. I can't really fill the script with any more words. I'm going off script. Why am I going off script? Coming up next, we got the Barbarian Hammer from God of War 2 with the attack called Crushing Defeat. It crushes nothing but my fucking heart with how pathetic of an attack it is. Kratos starts swinging the hammer wildly. Cue that Act Man clip.
Lock-on system, but my guy decides to just start swinging wildly. I point the camera back at him, it gives me a light lock-on, and he starts swinging wildly.
A very weak attack that doesn't even do the damage it's supposed to do, ending with a bonk that does not deal the damage it's supposed to deal, and it just kind of does a knockback, which can cause a collision, but it's way too late for that right now, Dad. Please leave the room and read it. Like, every time I execute this attack, I keep glancing at my watch waiting for it to end. Seriously, this attack should ideally damage Kratos and make him dizzy, maybe invert our controls or something. This is how I would have loved it to be. Next up on the list, we got another spin to win. This man loves 2 things in life, spinning and womanizing. Combine the 2 and you got yourself God of War 1 Cyclone of quote-unquote chaos. I say that because this is everything but that. The attack just starts and ends, yet it changes nothing in the battlefield. It's only slightly good for hit count, which I would argue is the purpose behind it, I guess. It sort of explains why the damage is so low. This attack is just mainly made for hit count, which you can get by doing the other better special attack that you unlock even before unlocking the special attack. This attack is like, you don't get it, it's like purely for hit count, which I consider that to be a bad thing. But that's about it for this one. Easily the worst Cyclone of Chaos in the franchise, but that video will have to wait for the future when I eventually make a top 5 Cyclones of Chaoses. Speaking of chaos, that's what I'm about to cause in Santa Monica's headquarters, because we got a God of War Ascension special attack up ahead, ladies and gentlemen. Coming up next on the list, the Tormenting Sorrow done with the Soul of Hades. This one has some cute range to it, but the damage is pretty ass. And I mean like pretty ass! I don't know. I'm just gonna calm down, okay? I'm not even gonna... Guys, you have no idea how poor the damage of these special attacks is. Like, not a single idea how poor the damage is, okay? It's like they're doing light hits, like how light attacking deals more damage than some of these special attacks. Like, they're so well animated, they're so well in utility, but the damage is so ass. And this all stems from a problem of God of War Ascension. The elements do not increase the damage you output with the blades when you upgrade them, and who decided this? It's a problem with all the elements, so it's not just this attack right here, the Tormenting Sorrow, for how cool it looks. It's a problem with a lot of special attacks, and honestly just thought Pappy, who directed the combat? It better not be Jason. Pappy, look at me! Look at me! I said look at me, Pappy! Was Jason the one who directed the game's combat? Was Jason the one who directed the game's combat? Moving on to the next special attack, we got the Soul Rip from God of War 3. You know, where Kratos lets one rip. This attack could have been a lot more than what we got. Essentially, Kratos grapples the enemy with the new combat grapple that every weapon has, but he doesn't dash into the enemy like the Blades of Exile. He unleashes these souls that hunt the enemies and attack them, which doesn't have that great of an effect. I wouldn't even say these things attack the enemy, more like they tickle the enemy. I don't know. Yet another attack made purely for hit count, but... I'm pausing this frame for way too long, I know. This one has the benefit of keeping the enemy busy while you plan your attack. Still really bad and could have been much more, but here we are. This one is good to get the 1000 hits trophy with, you know, I guess, if you care about trophies, you know. Now here's a cool little thing you can do with this special attack. There's a really neat little thing that you can do, and it's to switch to your blaze the moment the attack connects. What this lovely exploit does is knock back the enemy while keeping your position and not flying towards the enemy as Kratos. What you essentially do is grapple with the claws, then switch to the blades as the claws connect to the enemy. What you get is the effect of dashing them with the Blades of Exile, but without actually doing so. This really makes the attack a bit more useful, since you can have a knockback while keeping your position. You don't have to change your position and whatnot. So there's kinda something cool to that. Thank you, God of War 3. I love you very much. The next special attack, we have Divine Absolution from God of War 2's Blade of Olympus. This attack stays way too long and it does not deal the best damage I would have hoped it deals. You could ideally align a couple of enemies and... excuse my French, but vibrate them with this special attack, but that's the extent of the attack. Even when maxed out, that's what it does. You know, God Mod God had this idea of it shooting multiple lasers, which that would have been amazing, but the game sadly does not go with that. The attack takes too long, does not cover a huge area, doesn't deal as much damage as it should. You should never use it. Case closed. Moving on. Coming up next in the list of special attacks, we got the Rampage of the Furies. I really dislike the Rampage of the Furies, this absolute uncontrollable special attack. It's an attack that keeps on going and going and going. It's just that it takes way too long for what it's offering. The only thing of good use is the knockback at the end that Chains of Olympus took out. You thought I was talking about the little bit less shitty God of War 2 version? That's wrong, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about God of War Chains of Olympus Rampage of the Furies. It is a long-ass attack, and don't even mind the comment above about the knockback being removed, since there are no collisions in this game. But hold up, wait, what's that? It still should have been there, you lovely devs at Ready at Dawn that I can never get mad at. I love you little puppies. At least end my flurry of attacks with something. A slam, a knockback. Bitch, do a yoga pose or something. Wait, actually he does at the end of this. Why? Horrible. Absolute trash. The only mildly good use of this would be the air version, which takes way too long as well. Coming up next, we have Zeus's Despair from God of War Ascension's Lightning Element. Yeah, I read that right. Now, all of you guys know that I'm a huge sucker for electricity in video games. Now, imagine my surprise when I got to see this cookie cutter, utter garbage, piece of shit licking, ass-wiped version of the Chronos Rage from God of War 2 in God of War Ascension. It's just a very pathetic lightning orb. Does not target as many enemies as it should, doesn't damage enough as it should, and it doesn't have a purpose in this game as it should. There is, however, a neat trick that I found out about a very long time ago, and is that you can do 2 of these orbs if you just execute the attack and switch to another element and you have a rage filled up. So like that kind of adds a bit more damage to the move, but like that's literally all that I can say. Even then, it's pathetic, don't get me wrong. Like, the range is very bad and it stays on for way too short of a time, and I really don't want to talk about this anymore. Okay, this is reminding me of some trauma with my ex. Next up on the list, we got the Rampage of the Furies from God of War 2, where it originated from. The attack in here has the same problems that Chains of Olympus has, of course. It takes way too long to happen. Now, a really nice fix was something I heard from God Mode God once. Make the attack sectioned. Press L1 and circle to get this bit first, right here, right? So you can stop and only do this as Kratos. You can then press circle again for him to do the million stabs attack like Dante, see? And then a third time to do the cool far-reaching knockback for half collision. Like, that would have been instantly better. Suddenly, this attack would have been a little more doable. More decision making. Do I want to continue doing the entirety of the attacks, or do I need to stop since danger is coming my way? Do I need to, block or something? And please, I'd like to imagine it dealing double the damage that it deals. That's with the territory of where I also demand. I'm just saying, man, this attack could have been a lot. Like, this whole idea of it being sectioned would have made it much, much better. And please don't get the wrong idea. I'm not saying don't have commitment in a special attack, but god damn it, this is a long special attack. Like, I love committing in God of War games. Like, the God of War 2 Tartarus Rage is one of those attacks where you commit to it. And it's rewarding. It drops a deep hit. It's just cool. It's just that this one, the commitment is never worth it. It's almost never, ever, ever worth it. Like, you can't even do a special type of input to only get the final knockback. This is so good. It reaches way too far. It turned into a whole attack in God of War Ghost of Sparta. Why not here in God of War 2? This attack just takes way too long. Almost as long as my dick. Picture that. Next up on the list of special attacks, we got the Spartan Offensive from God of War Ghost of Sparta. The stars are aligned, Reddit is down the hall to the left, and Spartans are getting offensive with this one. It is essentially a barrage of stabs using the arms of Sparta, but it is sadly underwhelming as it takes too long and does not deal sufficient damage. The attack looks cool and all, looks like the million stab from DMC, but the damage is just not it, and everybody knows. The attack is simply not that good, just better than the above by a little bit, hence the placement. That's about it. I really don't have a lot to say about this. It's good that it aims down if you do it in the air so that it still catches the enemy, but that's really all I can say about it. So let's move on. Next up on the list, we got Rising Helios from God of War 1, and this attack is some hot dog trash. Literally the garbage truck at the end of Once Upon a Time in America. I really miss that movie. It is a huge leap into the air with some nice spins, ending in a slam that should deal 5 times the amount of damage that it's already dealing right here. This attack does deal a deep hit at the end, but it's still trash. It is so out of control, very weak, and like the auto lock kind of messes it up most of the time, and it just takes too long, and yeah, what more do you want? But overall, it is what it is. It is only here because it's better than whatever came before. Again, there's gonna be a theme with a lot of the special attacks. They're gonna be bad, but at least a bit better than what comes before. Okay, let's move on. Oh, and by the way, the air version is just a hit farm. It doesn't even deal a lot of damage or is good or anything. It's just for hit count. Moving on. Coming up next on the list, we got Underworld's Agony from God of War Ascension's Soul Element. This attack is doo-doo trash. It's just that it's at least a bit more useful than the above and what we covered. At least you can get in the air and cause some mild chaos down below. Like, otherwise, this is also a pretty trashy special attack, I'm not gonna lie. Nothing to even talk about. What you see is pretty much what the special attack is. The damage isn't anything crazy, but like, that's every special attack in this game. Almost every, not the Blade's Fire one. Next up on the list, we got the Cyclone of Chaos from God of War Chains of Olympus. This one is a much better version of the God of War 1 Cyclone of Chaos. It's the one God of War 2 introduced. And by much better, I just mean that it just covers a much better area. It's still not that great of an attack. The Cyclone of Chaos only gets cool with God of War 3. It generally just covers a much better area. Still takes way too long due to the hit lag, but hey, that's Ready at Dawn standing there proudly with 2 awesome God of War games. Everybody clap their asses, ladies and gentlemen. 2 awesome, amazing games. You got a problem with them, you got a problem with me. You heard me? 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 The air version is still the same as God of War 1, but like, it is what it is. I mean, I just want to move on. Coming up next, we have Poseidon Tremble from God of War Ascension. We've been on a streak of Ascension special attacks, and boy, really are these trash ass? This one is a shockwave of ice, you know, akin to the Might of the King shockwave that we're gonna talk about later, which, you know, Might of the King shockwave is a mile better than this. This is just here for show. It keeps the enemies away. It deals very trashy damage. You can even do the little double thing with it, just like the lightning of Zeus element, but like in here it does not work. It's just a visual glitch. Let's just move on, please. I would just want to stop talking about this. Next up on the list, we got the Cyclone of Chaos from God of War 2. The pioneer of ass attacks, putting the Psych in the Cyclone of Chaos. Truly magnanimous. It is the same attack we just talked about. I just prefer God of War 2's version because it has a quicker and better air version that doesn't look like a T-pose and Kratos spinning. Cyclone of Chaos in here is as usual. Only use it when like you just juggled a couple of enemies, then you can safely juggle them further with the Cyclone of Chaos. I don't know why you would ever do that. But alas, I want to move on. Coming up next on the list would be another helicopter. The Cyclone of Fire from God of War Ascension. This one covers a bit of a nice area, but the good thing about it is that it ends quickly. It's like a game that I hate. It gets good when it ends. There's also the advantage of doing it while your rage is filled up to give it, you know, this awesome finisher right here. Still nothing that crazy, just slightly better than the above. Only saving factor would be the rage change, which is still not the craziest thing, as I said. Just a nice knockback than usual. Next up on the list, we got Legion of Souls from God of War 2. The Barbarian Hammer really just either has the best special attack known to mankind or the worst piece of poop doo-doo ass move of all time. This one happens to be the latter. Kratos bonks the floor out of pure retard energy and summons a Legion of Souls that deals ass damage to the enemy. They tickle the enemy again. Again, nothing to look at here. The small little thing at least good about this special attack is I believe you can do it from up close to actually bonk the enemy itself, but that would be way too unsafe and not worth it and stupid and bald. And a career with 2 wives dead, lol. Overall, you at least have the option to do this, a sort of deep hit, if you will. Up next on the list, we got the Olympus Strike in God of War Ascension. This attack does not deal the craziest damage, nor does it deal the best stun. It is, however, nice that you can do it and hold the button to keep the enemies away. I really like gimmicky stuff in God of War, like in general. This one is a bit of a cool one. The dog shit damage does bring its aura down by a little bit, but still, not the worst thing in the world. Good for keeping enemies away. For, you know, it also covers a nice area, and you can hold the button, and it's... You can even aim it up if the enemy's up, but like, that's it. Pretty trash. Let's move on. So coming up next, we got the Spartan Charge from God of War Ghost of Sparta Spear. This is a rush attack that can end in 3 ways. Circle to knock back the enemy, triangle to launch the enemy, and square to check the enemy. And in the air, it's nothing special about this special attack. Truthfully, there is no reason to ever use this. It would have been baller if you were to tank everything in your way as you're running, but that's not the case. Why would I blindly rush to someone and then launch them? I can just normally and more safely approach them, then launch them. Why the emphasis on knockback when there are no knockback collisions? I suppose it's supposed to be useful for crowd controls, but really? This attack is again nothing that crazy special. We are entering the territory of good special attacks, but there's nothing very crazy about this. It's just better than the above. Let's move on. Next up on the list, we got the Rage of Leonidas from God of War Ghost of Sparta. This is a slam on the ground. Coming up next on the list, we got the Cyclone of Chaos. What a surprise. This time for God of War Ghost of Sparta. Now the reason... Did I just say reason? Now the reason this one is too high up here and way higher than the other Cyclones of Chaos is because of Thera's Bane in God of War Ghost of Sparta. Thera's thick bane that we all love. This makes it bypass enemy armor while being active, making it overall better than other Cyclones of Chaoses that came before it in this list. The moves stayed the same other than the air version having a specific knockback to it at the very end. That's about it. Thera's thick bane makes this way better. Let's move on. Coming up next on the list, we have the Crushing Strike in God Awful 3. The Crushing Strike is a move done with the Nemean Sisters. The ground version is a nice clap that deals some nice area damage, and the air version is a slam that deals some nice area damage. Crazy. Nothing truly stupendous about this. It breaks shields really nicely and covers a cute, nice area. That's all I really have to say about it. It does launch enemies, it does you know, like have multiple hits to it, so it's kind of cute in the air, but there is nothing really crazy that sticks out about this special attack, just that it's better than the above again. Coming up next with the list of special attacks would be God of War 2's Unfortunate Remains. This attack is done with the Spear of Destiny. Sometimes. This attack sets a really nice bomb on the ground that explodes after a little bit. Sometimes. God of War 2 has this very cool attack with the Spear of Destiny where Kratos slams the ground, leaving a time bomb on the ground that explodes after a little bit. Sometimes. Now I know you're probably wondering something here. Why is this guy's name Zesty? Now you're probably wondering why I kept saying sometimes up there at the end of each sentence. And that's because the move mostly works when it feels like working. The bomb appears sometimes, yet some other times you just stand there with a spear up your butt, wondering where all went wrong. Seriously though, a lot of times the bomb just does not happen. It's just that it's not the end of the world if that occurs. You are blocking anyways, it is a fun special attack, you still bounce the enemies with the initial slam. If you get the bomb, your setup is all good. If you don't get the bomb, you're just like George Bush. If you don't get the bomb, you go on and do whatever you want. The enemy is set up for you in the air, the move's fast and totally safe, but I just wish the bomb was more, you know, consistent. There are theories out there that the bomb does not happen if the area you're fighting in gets destroyed later on, or if it's an uneven surface, sometimes the bomb goes through the floor and just explodes way below that floor. And Kira has a Spear of Destiny run that he does, and he uses the attack a lot, and I really recommend you guys watch Kira's run. And I really don't want to talk about how inconsistent of a mess this is, but this is where it is on the special attacks list. I really want to move on. I don't feel too good. The next special attack on the list, we got Up Dog. You might be wondering, what's up, dog? What's up, dog? Heard you like God of War content, dog. If so, make sure to drop a like or I assault you in a video game. Entertaining movie-like comedy videos, we got challenge run commentaries and streams, shit, we got chill streams, shit, we got a song, yeah, we make songs in this fucking channel, we make God of War songs. I make the best combat guides in the business, and I always make a profound statement about the human condition in my reviews about God of War games. So if you're interested in content made specifically not to be watched by the opposite sex, you know where to find me. www.youtube.com/extremegameplays.com. Back to the video right now, back to the next best special attacks after that horrible special attack I just talked about. Coming up next after the previous special attack that was purely a fraudulent advertisement for my channel, in comes the Altering Slash from God Awful 2. This move is available at level 1 with the Spear of Destiny, but it's not anything special at level 1. It initially is a nice sweep attack that reaches far and covers a nice area, but there's nothing crazy about it, not even the damage is good at the start. When you upgrade the spear though, that's a different story. It starts leaving a purple status effect on the enemies that slowly builds up and then implodes them. I know, pretty fucking sick. But it does have a slight catch to it that you need to get yourself used to. See, the trick about this is if you do it normally even while upgraded, and if you don't manually aim the analog towards the enemy, most of the time it does not leave the status effect that slowly explodes inside of the enemy. So what you gotta do is, once you do that special attack, you aim the analog towards the enemy you just attacked. That way you have a higher and higher chance of actually, you know, imbuing the enemy with the Altering Slash that implodes them. Now this gets me to talk about something else that you can do with this cool attack, and it's to actually alter enemies from way too far away the moment you just have a hitbox right near you. Like, watch Kira alter Theseus of all people, of all bosses, I guess. In this video right here, he hits the Minotaur and aims the analog towards Theseus, altering Theseus and exploding him. This way, Kira beats Theseus without using Typhon's Bane, which is insane! Theseus could not get more devious. Truly beautiful showcase by Kira. Make sure to watch his run of the Spear of Destiny. I believe it's still going on, or maybe he's locked up in some jail in Antarctica or whatever. Coming up next, we have the Ferocious Bite from God Awful 3. The Ferocious Bite is the special grapple of the Nemean Cestus in God of War 3. Now, as I said earlier, every weapon in God of War 3 has a combat grapple of its own. This one is the Nemean Cestus combat grapple. With other combat grapples in the game, you have Kratos throwing himself towards the enemy. This one goes get over here and punches them back, a very slick move that even pulls Minotaurs if it wants to. Now this is not the craziest thing, it does not deal the most insane damage, but it is very cool for knockback. Like you can legitimately send an enemy flying. But that's not the only use that the Ferocious Bite offers. The other reason I mainly use this combat grapple with the Nemean Cestus is to de-shield enemies or to knock them back. See, once you use this special attack on shielded enemies, you kind of knock them back and damage their shield. Very cool way to damage their shield from afar safely, especially in Paint Plus, where you're not allowed to hit enemies with the Cestus unless you just, hit the shields with the Cestus. Very nice tech. Let's move on to the next special attack. Moving on. The next special attack on the list is Unending Sorrow from God of War 3. This attack is very lovely. Using the Claws of Hades, you can do this attack on the ground normally, which does this AoE type move that doesn't really deal the most crazy amount of damage. I'm not really that crazy about the damage. What I am crazy about is the fact that we're getting Gears of War remasters before the God of War Trilogy remasters on the PlayStation 5. Why did I say this? What I truly like about this move is the fact that you can cancel it into a jump after the initial attack. A really nice ascension to the air to get out of danger while still having a nice damage output on the ground. Beyond that, there's the air version that you're pretty well set up for at this point. This one causes a nice turn on the below enemies, really sweet hit property and not the worst damage in the world. It's still not the greatest damage that I'd hope it have, but it's also not even the worst. I'm kind of neutral on this special attack if I'm being honest. It's just very vanilla, but has nice twists to it. And I like twists, Like I like Twix. I eat Twix all day. Next up on the list, we got the Revenge of Artemis from God of War 1. It is the cyclonic attack that can be done with the Blade of Artemis, and it deals some really nice damage, especially when you max out this absolute badass fridge door. Awesome perks of Blade of Artemis specials is that they are cancelable with magic, so you can you can always opt out of this by pressing L2 with Zeus Fury. You can even trick while doing it to have iframes. A really nice pro, very nice special attack. Let us move on. There's nothing really to talk about a lot. It's a very quick and nice cyclonic attack. Moving on. Coming up next after that, we have the Tartarus Rage from God of War Chains of Olympus. Now this is the same as God of War 2's Tartarus Rage, except it does not double hit like God of War 2, which we'll get to in a little bit. The only twist to this Tartarus Rage when compared to God of War 2 is that it starts, bouncing or launching enemies with its initial first 2 hits, which I don't know if it's a good thing nowadays. It's like in God of War 2, the entirety of the thing deals double damage if done up close. And we'll get to God of War 2's Tartarus Rage. It is very nice of an attack. Overall, for Chains of Olympus, I am very neutral regarding this special attack. It can be good if placed right, but overall it's weaker than God of War 2's version because of the lack of the double damaging foes. Like, I'm simply baffled by the devs taking out the critical hit that this attack can deal from up close. There's not really a lot that I can talk about. Still a good special attack since it bounces enemies with their initial first 2 hits, but I can't really talk about it anymore. There's also the air version that is still the same as God of War 2's version. Again, special attacks in God of War Chains of Olympus are cancelable in the air. Yes, you heard me right. You can just cancel it into a magic attack in the air. But that truly is about it for God of War Chains of Olympus Tartarus Rage. There's nothing more I can talk about it. Let's move on to the next special attack. Coming up next, we got the Lightning Run from God of War Chains of Olympus. On the ground, it's a normal rush that has 2 outcomes. Press square for this attack, and press triangle for a launcher. This deals some really nice and sweet damage to the enemy. Now, you may say, what does really make this so special in this list right here? And I'm gonna spill it right now. It is the fact that this has armor in the air. Yes, purely tanking these hits while dishing out damage to the enemies. The damage output is not the most insane with this move, but it is just so great that you don't get interrupted while doing it in the air. Only that right there just makes it a very special attack, deserving this spot in the ranking. I can't really say any more about it. Let's move on. Next up on the list is the Icarus Ascension and Icarus Strike from God of War 2. This special is unlocked automatically once you get the chicken wings of Icarus. On the ground, it is this wonderful AoE launcher that launches surrounding enemies to the air and you to the air with them. Truly a thing of beauty that is rendered to be a death sentence in God of War 2 because it is the most dangerous thing in the history of action games to be in the air in this motherfucking action game. So now we're left with a really awesome special AoE launcher, but you're better off not doing it in God of War 2 because it's dangerous when you land on the ground since you can't instantly start blocking completely. It is a really neat attack, but you're only really safe if you do it and then do an Atlas Quake in the air to land perfectly fine and safe right after, or if you're a speedrunner you can use it, or a glitcher, or possibly even a bitcher. The cool thing about this attack is that in the air, it's a different attack. It's even a different name. That's why, and when we reached this placement, I said the Icarus Ascension and Icarus Strike. In comes the Icarus Strike in the air that claps the wings and sends the enemies flying backwards for a very nice half collision. It is a really lovely attack. I use this from time to time and it is a thing of beauty. Though you still have another special with another weapon that does this attack much safer and much better while also keeping position on the ground. But that'll come up way later, bro. Let's just move on. For now, this is a very nice and useful air knockback that doesn't deal a lot of damage on the enemy itself. Just that the enemies that get hit with the flying enemy that I just knocked back take a whole lot of damage. Because God of War 2. It returned in God of War 3 for the Blades of Athena, but in there, the roles are reversed. Now, the ground version is better since God of War 3 is not a cunt in the air like God of War 2, where you land and your stupid block is turned off for like a solid half a second. All of that while simultaneously having the air version as a worse version of the Icarus Strike, as there are no scaling collisions like in God of War 2. So yeah, pretty neat in God of War 3 as well, though it does get replaced later with the quick swap when you get the Blades of Exile onwards, but that's about all that I can say about the Icarus Ascension and Icarus Strike. Coming up next in today's list, we got the Inferno Slam from God of War Ascension, which happens to be the Tartarus Rage of God of War 3, returned in this game. Now this special attack right here actually deals some solid damage to the enemies, especially when Rage is active. When Rage is active, Kratos does the normal Tartarus Rage followed by a launcher and he leaves a bomb explosion on the ground. Very stupidly powerful. And the air version is sick as hell and has the same effect. It leaves the firebomb on the ground. This is a really cool Tartarus Rage, though the point I said about the damage, please keep in mind, the damage is only good for God of War Ascension standards. So like when you compare it to nearly every other Tartarus Rage, this one is just as good in God of War Ascension compared to other specials in God of War Ascension. So I just wanted to clear that up. Let's move on. Up next in the ranking would be the Tormenting Lash from God of War 3. This is the cyclonic attack with the claws of Hades, and I especially love it so much. I especially love it because it has some special hit properties to it that other cyclonic attacks may not really have. The normal ground version makes enemies airborne and pushes them away from Kratos. Is very neat. Even wall splatting some of the enemies at times is very cool. The air version is this flurry of attacks that constantly bounces the enemies up and down to set them up in the air. The damage isn't anything crazy, it is mostly your crowd controlling move, but I just really like it for what it does in crowd controlling. Like any attack that just launches an enemy for you in the air is an automatic win, bro. It's just so good. Overall, one of the best cyclonic attacks in the series. Takes the spot, let's move on. Next up, we got God of War Ghost of Sparta's Tartarus Retribution. This one finds Kratos leaping into the air while spinning the blades and ending it with a short range slam to seal the deal. This again makes it good because of Theris Bane that imbues enemies with a firebomb at the end with a slam. Otherwise, this move itself is kind of waste a bit of time in the air before actually getting to the good part, which is the slam. That's the good part. It's like a buffed up and better God of War 1 heavy special. Very nice damage output and hit property given that you activate Theris Bane during the animation to cancel out enemy armor. It's basically the same thing as like the Cyclone of Chaos in God of War Ghost of Sparta. But like generally for this one, even if you don't activate Theris Bane, you still get a pretty neat heavy special attack in God of War Ghost of Sparta. The air version is the same as the original God of War 2 air heavy special, the same as God of War 2's air Tartarus Rage. Nothing to look at here, though again, Theris Bane makes it so much better than usual. Very sweet. Thank you and next. What we have next is a Blade of Artemis special attack, the Ascension of Artemis. This one is a quick and simple launcher with the Blade of Artemis. Really sweet setup for enemies. You can launch them and do whatever you really want. But besides that, it is a really damn nice ring out tool in its own. You see, God of War 1 has this unintended, sorta intended thing where if you do this attack twice on most enemies, you can actually send them flying backwards or, you know, to wherever you just launched them. And they just have a high chance of getting ringed out in every spot because they go over the invisible wall of the arena. The attack is just that cool, and you can even do it after, you know, setting up an enemy with a punt and then you go launch them for the home run. We call this the home run technique. But even beyond this amazing cool tech that we have with it, where we can store some enemies in some spots as well as some encounters, the attack just conveniently happens. Quick, easy, and very nice. It is extremely beautiful and convenient. I don't really have a lot to say about it. What's on display is more than enough. This sick-ass punt ring out you can do with it is more than enough to showcase how awesome of a special attack it is. It speaks for itself. I don't know what else to add. Just a very freaking sick launcher, setup move, and ring out tool. What's not to love? Let us move on. Next up on the list, we got the Deadly Reprisal from God of War 3. The Deadly Reprisal is nothing that interesting on the ground. For all we know, it could be a bit useful to lead an enemy to a ring out or, you know, to a trap, for example. But really, that's about all that it does. In the air, though, is a different story. You can do it and Kratos instantly drops down to the ground, ready to give head. You can hold the button once you do it in the air, and that's exactly what matters in this attack. Some very sweet damage comes off of this, with the right positioning, of course. There's also these amazing rage orbs that come out that have zero value. You know, these orbs are fake. I love discovering new shit about God of War 3, but I hate it sometimes, you know? Like, I hate discovering new stuff sometimes. Like, why did I find out that these orbs are fake? I could have lived my entire life not knowing that these orbs are fake. The Nemesis Whip is my favorite secondary weapon in the franchise. This is its weakest special, but it's not so bad still. It's also great because you can cancel the finisher of it when dropping from the air. You can even do your magic attack in the air. Whew! I'm running out of breath. Very nice special attack. Let's move on. Next up, what we have is the Tartarus Rage from God of War 2, and this one was tough to rank. On one hand, you're practically dealing double damage of doing the move up close on a big hitbox, Xbox, while on the other hand, well, the move is dangerous to execute, you see. Your feet are perfectly planted on the ground and you keep your position with this one when compared to other Tartarus Rage in the series. Like, this is the thing, this is something that can be hit or miss for some people. Your feet are perfectly planted on the ground, you keep your position, but dangers can come and slap you at any time at the slightest misplacement of the move. You gotta be really careful. The attack is just generally very stiff of a Tartarus Rage. There's a slight opportunity to redirect it for the last slam, but I wish we could redirect every hit that comes out in here. That would have been much better. Even the final slam that you can redirect, you can only like redirect it in a 30-degree angle. You can't really even do a whole 180 turn. But with all these cons comes a very nice pro. The absolute best thing about this special that heavily redeems it would be the fact that it deals double damage on big enemies up close. If they don't bounce, that is. That is correct. We have the deep hit system with the Tartarus Rage in this game. That especially goes for every single hit of the Tartarus Rage, by the way, not just the final slam. And I cannot preface how much I love this. Like, practically when you do this from up close, you're pretty much dealing double damage with the Tartarus Rage than if you do it from afar on like an enemy or whatever. I really like it. Requires a lot of commitment, but it is so awesome to land a complete version of it. I don't need to talk about the air version of the Tartarus Rage here. It is pretty straightforward. Nothing crazy when it comes to damage talk, but it is generally really nice how you land and launch everybody around you. You can then jump and grab the enemy or do whatever you want, really. It is very nice in the air as well. Coming up next, we got the Cyclone of Chaos from God of War 3. I know this is high on the list, but it has its reasons. The brand new Blades of Exile Cyclone of Chaos sees Kratos spin much faster than before, and you can keep pressing the buttons to have Kratos do even more and more attacks as you press the buttons. It is very fast when compared to literally every other Cyclone of Chaos in today's list, or even faster than most attacks, like in general. It doesn't matter that it has to be on this list. You essentially control an entire squad of enemies this fast, and it's amazing for both hit count and actual damage. There's not just like one purpose to this move. Of course, all this speed and damage output comes if you just do it without the sick-ass extension it gets at level 4 and higher, where you mash square further and Kratos does more and more attacks, keeping the pace and speed as well. The great thing about this is that not just like the damage output and speed, is generally the technique around the Cyclone of Chaos in here just makes it so good. Like noticing the footwork and how much Kratos moves and how much you can redirect Kratos to wherever you want. It's like an attack that can stand on its own. When compared to other Cyclones of Chaos, it is a ton better. When talking about it alone, it is a very nice attack that stands on its own. The air version remained the same, which was always good ever since God of War 2, so nothing changed from that. Now, this specific Cyclone of Chaos has an unfair advantage over the others that is just another factor that makes it so great. This has been a running theme throughout this entire list right here. Special attacks are not just great or bad because of their own nature. Sometimes the game they're in makes them pop and flash way better than some other special attacks that would ideally be better. Like, for example, remember when I mentioned the Icarus Strike in God of War 2 and why it's good in God of War 2 but not good in God of War 3? Exactly that. It is very good in God of War 2 because collision scaling, you can output a hell of a lot of damage with this simple clap that doesn't even deal a lot of damage to the enemy you sent flying. But in God of War 3, it's an objective downgrade since the knockback does not deal a lot of damage to the other enemies in behind that get hit with a flying enemy. So like this is the same case here with the Cyclone of Chaos in God of War 3. We do acknowledge that the move in general is different than that of God of War 2, or even better with the footwork, with the way you can redirect it, with the everything you want, how much you can make it a shorter, Cyclone of Chaos than God of War 2 and a longer Cyclone of Chaos than God of War 2. But beyond that, it has another aspect that makes it better than any other Cyclone of Chaos that came before or after. And that said aspect is the removal of the hit lag for God of War 3, or the reduction of the hit lag, especially when compared to God of War 2. Now, what is hit lag? As I'm reading this, I came up with this joke of hail hit lag. The concept of hit lag is where your weapon sticks to the enemy as it's hitting them, almost like a realistic take on what would happen if you swung at a real crowd of people. I'm sure this is a thing a lot of people love because it makes the attack just have such an oomph to it that otherwise it wouldn't have without it, but like, let me just talk about it. Like, you see, God of War 2, or any other God of War really, before God of War 3, has this crazy hit lag to it that really just makes the attack take forever to finish. It is a byproduct of the low memory the PS2 had when compared to PS3. This was used as a way to make the flashy attack look realistic. The memory of the PS2 could not handle hitting all these enemies without slowing down the player character. This works to make the attacks worse than what they look like. God of War 2 Cyclone of Chaos is not this slow slop of attacks, flurry or whatever. They only turned into that because of the system they are on. So like another outside factor that is making a special attack worse than what it is. This also simultaneously worked as a way to increase the difficulty of God of War 2 in general, which will be a video I will make in the future. God of War 2 has a lot of ways where it makes the game difficult. This hit lag is one of them. The game has some very strong hit lag. So how does this tie into why the Cyclone of Chaos in God of War 3 is just so good? What God of War 3 did with the Cyclone of Chaos was first change it into a much quicker spin, like in general. And then of course, with the more powerful hardware, there was no longer a slowdown upon hitting enemies. Do the Cyclone of Chaos with enemies around and then do it without enemies around. The difference is very minor, whereas in games before, the difference is literally night and day. So like you see, beyond the attack just looking better, going faster, or having better footwork and redirection, the attack is better directly because the hardware is stronger than the hardware of before. So there is that dynamic which we're counting here. So that's why this is placed here. It is very good, and I just explained why. Let us move on. Next up on the list of special attacks, we got the Vicious Maul in God of War 3. God, I love this special attack very much. A very nice and fast cyclonic attack done with the Nemean cestus that knocks back enemies all in sight around Kratos. This thing deals sweet damage and knocks back enemies far away from you. Very simplistic when I talk about it like this, but it's just what it is. I mean, like, I don't really know. I don't want to overcomplicate it. It covers a really nice area. It has a very nice hit property where it knocks back enemies all around you. The move overall just learned this lesson from God of War 2's Crushing Strike and did the complete opposite. Instead of a bunch of spins that don't have a single hit property to them, every single hit from the spin has a hit property. The spin is short and is generally just doable in the air, and it's just like, I don't know how to describe this. And the fact that you can cancel it at any time with the lovely Rage of Sparta. That's right, another outside factor making a special attack shine. Like for example, you may say, Zesty, it outputs amazing damage but it knocks back the enemy. What's the use then? Well, to that I say you can do this that I'm doing right here on display. This is outputting hella damage on these sirens. And now to round it back to the knockback aspect, it is just amazing the fact that it even knocks back the fiercest of enemies. It's just a huge bonus. Like this thing knocks back, you know, middleweight class enemies. Like the Minotaur, for example. It takes this spot wonderfully and I just prefer it over the prior two, although I can see a world where the prior two can be a bit better than this one, but let us now move on. Next on the list is a very special one. LOL. We have the Quick Swap from God of War 3. Now, the Quick Swap is not just one attack that always comes out the same. The Quick Swap actually has 8 variants and different attacks that come out depending on the situation you use it in. And this makes me love it so goddamn much, I don't even know where to begin. The Quick Swap is essentially a weapon swap, but you swap into the next weapon's attack. So, pressing L1 and X while having the blade switches to the claws by attacking with the claws. Then press it again and you switch into the Cestus attack, you know, attacking with the Cestus. Then again, and it's the Nemesis Whip attack. And finally again to round it back to the blades of Exile. It is the same in the air but with different animations and uses and hit properties. This can have many uses, like smoothly swapping into your next weapon, or doing it for some aggressive DPS with the Cestus. I believe this to be the best absolute DPS with the Cestus. Or you can even do it for style points in keeping an enemy juggled, or for restarting your inertia from one direction into another mid-air using the Cestus, or to even gain some nice positioning if used right. Essentially, it is one of the core aspects that connects God of War 3's core combat altogether. The swapping is well thought out too, like if you swap from the blades to the claws and then press square with the claws, the second attack comes out of the claws rather than normally, you know, the first attack. So you can do L1 and X to the claws and then square and then triangle and you get the slam, the curse with the claws of Hades. Like all of this just perfectly fits into making the switch from blades to claws all the more smooth and beautiful. 4 swaps on the ground, 4 swaps in the air, and you have such a wonderful special attack that changes depending on the situation you're put in, or the situation you create yourself. The blades to the claws specifically is one of my favorites, both the ground version and the air version. The ground version is pretty much the original heavy attack of the blades from the first 2 games. You can do it if you don't feel like doing the new heavy attack of the blades, so, you know, there's that. It leads perfectly to the second hit of the claws, followed by the curse attack as I just explained. Then there's the air version that bounces the enemy quickly back up to the air. It also happens to transition us perfectly into the Cestus quick swap in the air on the bounced enemy. You can kind of see the cohesion I'm going with here with the entirety of the moveset. This special, you know, quick swap is just so beautiful. Then comes another favorite of mine, the claws to the Cestus. Punching really hard and covering all the distance is just so awesome. It can be used for DPS as well as I described, possibly the best DPS, although it can be a bit taxing on the fingers, so if you could just go with the normal, you know, DPS of the Cestus, that's fine. The claws to the Cestus quick swap in the air is also good to redirect yourself mid-air and of course, you know, punching the enemy so hard they bounce, so there's also that. Then comes the Cestus to the Nemesis Whip, which is nothing really that crazy. On the ground, it is the starter of the Rampage of the Furies of the old Blaze of Athena. In the air, it's a bunch of constant hits in the air, so it can be a bit cool, but nothing really that crazy. But then after that comes in the Nemesis Whips to the Blaze of Exile. The ground version gives you a really nice area covering sweep that you do with the Blaze of Exile. The air version gives a very nice double overhead that bounces the enemy twice and deals some cute damage. Overall, the quick swap is just amazing and I have nothing more to say. Truly wonderful. Let us move on to the next special attack. Next up on the list, we got the Hyperion Charge from God of War Ghost of Sparta. This is a very nice and sweet special attack that you even have at level 1. Kratos sprints and automatically grabs the enemy when he reaches them. It is essentially a whole ass alternate grab to your arsenal, and you all know how much I love grabbing stuff, especially Oko Ls. Also some of that far bounty booty, eh? But to be a bit serious, you all know how much I love grabs and command grabs in action games. Actually, I doubt a lot of you guys know, but you should just know by now. I really love grabs and command grabs in general in action games. It's like one of my favorite aspects out of every action game. I'm looking at you, obliteration technique. So anyways, this gives you a secondary type grab on most enemies. It is a very nice and cool little grab thing that you can do. In the air, Kratos dives towards the motherfucker and grabs him. truly the stuff of legend. Simple yet effective. You even unlock a quick launcher and light shoulder tap when you upgrade the blades, which just ready at dawn. Man, I want to just baby you till the end of time and forever value the thing you brought on display here. It is amazingly put into the game, and I have a special place for it in my heart. Like, you can even do this thing where if an enemy has a circle on top of their head, if you sprint towards them, Kratos automatically grabs them when he reaches the enemies. Just what's not to love about this special attack? Like, it may not be as effective as the prior special attacks, but it just adds so much utility to your tools and what you can do, and the fact that you can use it a lot in your runs just puts it so high on the list. I can't not put it this spot. It takes the spot rightfully and allows us to move on to the next placement on today's list. Let's move on. Coming up next, we got a big one. The Olympic Thunder from God of War Chains of Olympus. Now, this special attack is pure cocaine on full display. It is the heavy special attack of the Gauntlet of Zeus, and it is cracked. There is really not a lot I can say about it, even though it's this high on the list. It is very straightforward. A very nice damaging AoE launcher, almost said bouncer. Hey, it does bounce enemies, so I guess it is a very nice AoE bouncer. The ground version is as I described. The air version is a pure Michael P. Jordan moment right there. The man dunks on the enemies from above, and like the ground version, you can charge it to cover more area and damage. Honestly, I don't even know what else to say. It's pretty straightforward. It's just so good. But wait. I actually know what to say. Wait. This motherfucker has armor in the air as well. That is right. Once you start this attack in the air, there is no stopping it until you slam the ground. You have armor and enemies cannot interrupt you, which is just very unique on a special attack. No special attack has that. To be completely honest, you are left a bit open after executing it, but careful use of this can render the enemies helpless. I don't really know what's not to love about this special attack. It deals amazing damage, you can charge it, you have armor in the air. It just takes this spot in today's placement. I don't really know what to say. This perfectly transitions us into the next special attack on the list, which is also done with the Gauntlet of Zeus. The Olympic Strike is the next one on the list, and it is the same kind of crazy, except I put it above the Olympic Thunder because it is a bit safer and quick to use than the Olympic Thunder. And I say it's the same kind of crazy because like the previous one, this one also has armor in the air. Like Ready at Dawn just sometimes makes stuff like this, and I can't help but like hold them near and dear to my heart in a big fatherly hug. Like, I just love these guys so much, even though they have a lot of faults in their games, but fuck, I love Ready at Dawn. In the air, it has armor, and on the ground version is better than the Olympic Thunder version, so like this attack is overall, I prefer this over the Olympic Thunder. The sheer damage output, combined with the air version not being interruptible, peak. That's about it. I can't really say anything about this. What a nice freaking special attack. Let us move on. This next placement is a hell of a placement. Apollo's Ascension from God of War 1. There's not a lot I can say to truly appreciate how awesome of an attack this is. It is just perfect. On the ground, you get an insta-launcher that launches you into the air with the enemy. It's just very nice and sweet. It's just a very nice and sweet and fast insta-launcher to the air. Like it's just so cool. And then when you're in the air, it is a flurry of attacks with one blade, then a slam back down to the ground that bounces the enemy back up with the other blade. It also looks very good and has very nice, damage, and it's a good hit counter thing, and it's... Have I mentioned this? These special attacks just look good? Have I mentioned that throughout this entirety of the video? A lot of the special attacks just look so fucking good. You ever just have a special attack that just looks so good? Oh my god! Look at the technique! You can practically keep on repeating it in the air or do it once then grab the enemy or whatever really. It is a very sweet special attack. There's this cute technique that we do sometimes where we hop into the air, do the attack, and only let the vertical overhead that slams the enemies and bounces them. Only let that one connect so that the enemy's perfectly set up for an air grab for you. And it's just, oh my god. What is it about special attacks in the air that launch the enemy in front of you and set them up? I just love this cute little, group of special attacks that do this for you. And I just love them very much. Like what you see on display right here is just perfectly summing up why I love this attack very much. What's it called again? I'm sorry. Yeah, Apollo's Ascension. Like once you start getting into the mood of doing this technique, the enemies just perfectly set up. Like, you deliver the enemy's ass to Kratos in the air. Kratos can just eat that ass at that point. And please remember, very few attacks do this, where they pull a grounded enemy to the air for you. And I just love that God of War 1 has it. All in all, what a masterpiece of a special attack in God of War 1, or in God of War in general. Truly wonderful. Let us move on. And move on we do! Woo! Woo! Move on we do! With the next entry being the peak of the genre of music, we got Severe Judgment in God of War 3 done with the Nemesis Whip. This is pretty much what you saw in the prior special attack ranking, but better in almost every way. And like overall, it is the best special attack launcher, AoE launcher in the entire series. And all of that, of course, has its reasons. Like the Icarus Ascension with the Icarus Wings, this thing launches all surrounding enemies in a whole ass AoE launching type move. Make absolutely sure to have the entire move connect with the enemy, as you can input your next input in the air to cancel out the remainder of the animation. So make sure to leave the whole attack till it connects completely. Here's an example on screen of it hitting completely, and here's an example of me canceling into something else before it even finishes. So just wanted to throw that out here. But now it's coupled with an even more godly air special attack. The special attack on the ground is a very, very nice AoE special launcher. Then in the air, it's a flurry of attacks that launch grounded enemies to the air for you. Basically like Apollo's Ascension, so it's combining the two worlds. It is doing the AoE of the Wings of Icarus, but also having the luxury of just launching grounded enemies to the air for you, like Apollo's Ascension in God of War 1. The air version is just a very, very nice flurry of attacks that you can do to launch enemies to the air, and you can repeat it repeatedly, like Apollo's Ascension from God of War 1. It is just so lovely. The damage output is very cool. You can even camp on top of big hitboxes to keep on outputting it, and oh my god, the height you keep on gaining with every rep of the move. It doesn't matter how much I say this, you really have to go out there and do a Nemesis Whip only run. To round it back to the ground version, it just covers a really nice area, launching every enemy so quickly and safely. Like for example, you can use this grounded version to kind of set up a bunch of enemies in the air, leaving them on a stage hazard, and you just kill all of them, and god, I love God of War 3. As for the air version, what's not to love about making an enemy that is on the ground rise up to the air, and from there on you can do whatever you want, be it grabbing them, combat grappling them, magic attacking them, switching to another and special attacking them. Sky's the limit. This is about it for Severe Judgment. I can't really talk about it anymore. You really have to go out there and try it for yourself. It is a very nice special attack. It blends into any attack you want to do in the air. It's just that cool because it's that cool. Let's just move on, please. I don't want to keep on talking about it. Let's go. Coming up next on the list, we have the Might of the King Shockwave from God of War 2. This is an attack that I love very dearly in God of War, and I just can't express how much. The simple fact that it's available for the hammer at level 1, and the fact that you can do it in the air, and just man, it fucking looks good. The cute little spin Kratos does before dropping it is so cool. It's just him charging how powerful he wants to slam the ground. The air version is also really cool. Like again, did we ever talk about how awesome these special attacks look? Gotta love them. But let's leave the looks onto the side. Kratos slams the ground, sending a shockwave of fire that bounces enemies and deals some nice damage that is unaffected with difficulty. Like, that premise alone is just such a nice Harry Potter plot right there. Regardless of whether this is on easy or very hard, the fire deals the same damage, which is sweet damage. But it doesn't stop there, you see. You can execute this move from up close and bonk the enemy with the hammer itself, dealing even more damage, a sort of deep hit if you will. The air version is also the stuff of legend. It's generally good to drop one of these from a distance and then act upon your next move or whatever. There is so much I like about this attack, and it's just generally very simplistic. This attack is so simple, yet so effective. There is just so much I love about this special attack, and admittedly a little bit that I hate about it. But first of all, I want to start with the good. For starters, we have the attack being so versatile, and you know how much I love versatility in my special attacks. For example, in this clip right here, watch me break some debris across the wall with just this attack in this clip. I'm literally breaking the wooden gate ahead before starting up the encounter. Or in this example right here, you can see me attacking enemies on a whole different platform because the attack just has such amazing and fantastic width and reach. Or in this next example, again, watch me break this nest with the attack before the encounter even begins. A bunch of enemies with armor while they're attacking, like these dogs and sentries and guardians. You know what to do, Might of the King Shockwave. I petrified enemies from afar, I don't want to lose my position, and I want to shatter that statue. You got it. It is very versatile in the ways you can use it. It is also a very nice thing to check enemies with it from afar. It has a nice hit property of launching enemies. It has nice damage on enemies or their statues. It goes through walls and barriers, as you can see on the display right now. It captures some nice area with the enemy. It is generally the stuff of legend until it's not. There is a bit of problem with this attack that may not even be its fault. I doubt it's the special attack itself's fault. There are times where the fire simply goes through the enemy and does not even connect for seemingly no reason at all. I say that that's not the attack's fault because it is usually the game's fault, if I'm being honest. You see, uneven surfaces can cause this attack to miss sometimes and not miss some other times. The attack is sorta inconsistent at times. Here is footage of me doing it on an even surface and it misses for seemingly no reason at all. Here's me doing it on an uneven surface and it works on some enemies, whereas it does not work on some other enemies. Here's me doing it on enemies that are lower than me and it connects to all of them and kills them all. And here's footage of me doing it again and it just does not work. Now all of this gets remedied by the time we get the Spear of Destiny, since by then we unlock weapon swap and the pause menu, and that opens up a whole wormhole. I'm sure some of you guys may not know about this, so let's just explain it. What cycle canceling does is save humanity by allowing you to cancel your animations into pure nothingness by switching weapons in the middle of the animations. You do a special attack, pause, switch to another weapon with circle, come back to the game in idle position. You're basically not doing anything. So how does that help with the Might of the King missing enemies sometimes? Well, it makes absolute zero risk in doing special attacks with any of the secondaries in God of War 2. It still sucks since its issues outside of the range of the code and has remedy outside of its zone, so like again, it's an issue that happens with the game, yet the game itself can sorta remedy it. This also kinda alienates me from doing the special attack at will until I get the Spear of Destiny, which can suck since you get like the Spear of Destiny way later into the game, like after halfway through the game, but it's kind of there, you know, like it's kind of risky to do this at will before getting the Spear of Destiny, since there's the fear of it missing an enemy or two, resulting in you getting hit. But still though, even with all that said, from afar it wouldn't hurt to do this attack to check the enemies with some damaging fire from the depths of hell. So this special attack stays a spot still, and I really just love these weird gimmicky things that you can do with things in God of War, like in general. It is just like truly the stuff of legend. This is where I'm gonna leave it. It is very amazing. It's unlocked at level 1. It has a deep hit thing where if you can do it from up close, hell, the air version, if you do it up close and bonk an enemy with it, that enemy is sent flying backwards, like it's a hyper knockback, which I'm sure deals a half collision damage. It's just very amazing, and the fire is still coming out, by the way, during all of this, and it is a very nice special attack. Let us move on. We are entering the top 5 special attacks list right about now. Strap up and report to the nearest Hall of Shame because the shilling is about to get real. Let's go. Coming up in our number 5 spot for the best special attack, we have the absolute unit, Lance of the Furies from God of War 1. The Lance of the Furies is an AoE slam that Kratos does that knocks back every enemy in sight and shatters every statue on sight while it's at it. It also happens to deal amazing damage. What the hell does this thing not do? I'm sorry, like this is about it. I don't really know what to talk about this. It needs to be charged to have the best effect, but man, it's really worth the charge. The knocks back all dealing half collisions is just the icing on the cake, another outside factor making this special attack so good. Like if the AoE slam itself doesn't deal enough damage to your liking, how about the half collisions that it causes? All these enemies fly towards each other and fuck each other up in the air. Speaking of the air, in the air there is this cool trick where you can just mash the button to drop instantly with the fully charged version. The thing of legend, you don't even have to hold circle in the air and take that long. There's also this very very sweet discovery made by Hristo Zimnas that one time. So you know when you petrify an enemy, then you go and shatter the statue on the ground and you get 15 orbs as a medal? Right, so shattering with the Lance of the Furies gives you double the amount of red orbs because it frankly can do that for you, and it's a built-in mechanic in God of War 1. The That of the Furies, the absolute unit as I just called it. A whole mini nuclear explosion. I can't really express how much I love this special attack. It is just very nice. Let us move on quickly before we break something here. Come on. Coming up next in the number 4 spot of special attacks, we have the magnificent, brand new and upgraded, deep hit stellar, pristine, Tartarus Rage from God of War 3. There are truly not enough words I can say to describe this special attack right here, especially with the recent discovery of this thing dealing double damage up close, pretty much exactly like God of War 2's Tartarus Rage. The Tartarus Rage saw a huge change in God of War 3, just like every other special attack in this goddamn game. The attack comes out fast, does double damage on big hitboxes from up close with its slam, be it on the ground or in the air. It can be charged up for a more powerful slam and more spins. It has wonderful range in the air. It has wonderful range on the ground. It has a special case in the air where you can hold L1 and triangle and Kratos dishes out an infinite flurry of hits in the air until he touches the ground and still ends it with a far-reaching slam that deals double damage on big hitboxes. Oh my god, this fucks enemies in every way you can imagine. The Tartarus Rage on the ground is this quick double slam attack that can be redirected with absolute ease. It deals some very sweet damage, and on top of that it has the deep hit mechanic built into it. Do this on a big hitbox and you deal double damage with your big slam, a literal critical hit. The amazing thing is this works with the air version as well, so you can set that up if you really feel like it. You can even start charging it up on the ground, which Kratos does a couple of leaping into the air like God of War Ghost of Sparta, and ending it with a more powerful slam, though setting it up can be a bit difficult with the positioning and all that, so you may not really land it to your heart's content. Overall, like, the attack is very cool, especially like if you do it against these Talos enemies right here, since, you know, they have this sprint attack with a horizontal high attack. You can do the Tartarus Rage at the perfect time to punish them perfectly with a deep hit, and you can thank me later for this awesome tech. You can even do this with the plumes. Thank you very much. It's very awesome that I discovered this in the Pain Plus run that I did. Now, you thought I was done with the Tartarus Rage of God of War 3? The
fuck you mean? Nah.
We get to the air version, and my god, the range this thing has is crazy. Like, you guys cannot have the slightest idea how much I love this change that it saw. Like, how do you go from this stiffness right here to this legendary, versatile... God, I love it. So, like, in the air, it has this amazing, crazy range. Couple that with the damage, and you have a really nice distance closer with a fast recovery to it as well. You can even use the air version for a different purpose, like pressing it once in the air near an enemy, which makes Kratos slap the enemy a few times with damaging his that makes the enemy bounce. So you know what that means. Again, it pulls grounded enemies to the air for you. Like who would have thought a Tartarus Rage would do that for you in a God of War game? Hey, look at us. Who would have thought? Not me. I have expressed how much I love special attacks that bounce a grounded enemy to the air and set them up for you. I don't need to keep on shilling for the next 5 minutes on this as well. And you may still think I'm done with the air talk. No, bitch. The true schmeat of this attack in the air is the cool thing you can do by holding triangle in the air. This makes Kratos spin like an absolute unit, a whole ass Beyblade right there. A flurry of non-stop slabs that deal good damage and keep on bouncing enemies non-stop until Kratos reaches the ground and gravity fights him. But you do not fall if you do this correctly on big hitbox enemies. On big hitboxes, you can practically stay on top of them and destroy them while they're unable to even reach you in the air. It just needs nice control and positioning in the air. The Tartarus Rage is a whole lie in this game. You can't go from two extremely slow versions to this! The God of War 3 Blaze of Exile Tartarus Rage takes the number 5 spot in the special attacks ranking. Let us move on to the next special attack. Coming up next at number 3, and my god, this is hard to make, but we got the combat grapple from God of War 3, the Hyperion Ram. This is gonna be the Blaze of Exile and Nemesis Whip version of the grapple, though I'm gonna be leaning more towards the Blaze of Exile version since that one dishes out more damage than the Nemesis Whip grapple. but they do look the same and have the same effect. Kratos grapples onto an enemy and bashes him with his shoulder, closing the distance and knocking them back to either a wall splat or a ring out, or to stir up a bunch of lined up enemies. The attack is available from level 1 of the Blades of Exile, and it is a thing of beauty. It is also a thing for Nemesis Whip, but it deals less damage, almost half the damage of the Blades of Exile when on max. There's not enough I can say about how amazingly this attack fits in God of War 3. It works perfectly for God of War 3's formula, knocking back an enemy swiftly to a wall where they pause and you have the opening to air grab them, or knocking them out for their ring out for their demise, rendering an enemy that insta died with an insta knockback at level 1 with the blades with like one input. The attack is just so simplistic, and yet it's just so awesome. It connects to almost any hurt box in the game. I want to talk a little about the knockback of the Hyperion Ram right now. You see, the combat grapple knockback is no ordinary knockback. What happens is you knock back an enemy, and then that enemy becomes a literal flying hitbox that knocks back other enemies. So it does not operate like a normal, knockback where it just hits other enemies and the other enemies stand in place taking damage. No. They do not take damage with the knockback, but what does happen is the flying enemy that got sent towards the crowd creates even more and more knockbacks, making for scenarios like these where I'm just knocking back a Minotaur so freely and so easily.
Okay, I felt like explaining this since this feels a little confusing when you look at it this way. God of War 3 does have knockback collisions. It's just that the combat grapple itself does not have knockback collisions that damage. It has this weird sort of knockback that I just explained. It does start dealing damage, but only after another enemy gets knocked back with the collision. So say you just knocked back the initial enemy you combat grappled, then that enemy, when he's flying and he hits another enemy, that does not deal damage, but that other enemy that starts flying does deal damage, so it scales that way. So you can still set up a lot of half collisions with this, just, you gotta know how to do it in crowded situations, so that's about it.
On one hand, it sucks that the knockback does not deal collision damage, which even then, the collisions do not scale in God of War 3, they only deal 5 damage, but I still wish that is something I'm gonna critique about the combat grapple here. It's still good since like the knocked back enemy is becoming a whole entire tool of knockback whenever he connects slightly with other enemies. So there is this dynamic that I just wanted to get out of the way before moving on to my next point. My next point being that this attack beautifully interrupts enemy attacks, which is quite unlikely for a lot of special attacks. An enemy could issue an attack and you can just cancel theirs by grappling onto them. Their attack literally stops the moment you stab them with the 2 blades. It is amazing. This attack has such great range, versatility, and even damage when maxed out that I just couldn't help but put it here in the number 3 spot of the special attacks ranking. It opens new possibilities for Kratos and makes him stronger in every scenario. You just knocked back an enemy, combat grapple. You just started an encounter, combat grapple. You just jumped, combat grapple. An enemy just attacked, combat grapple. The attack is very amazing and conveniently gives Kratos an on-demand knockback attack. It's sex personified right here on display. It being available at level 1 is the creme de la crop. The range is also crazy and I cannot preface this enough. It takes this spot today, it takes the number 3 spot of the special attacks ranking. We can now safely move on to the number 2 spot in the special attacks ranking. I can't believe we made it this far. Moving on to the second best special attack in all of God of War. We have the piercing shards from God of War 2 with the Spear of Destiny. Is there much I can say about this attack that hasn't been said? The fact that you keep your position, the fact that Kratos automatically aims it to where the enemy is, be it below or above you, the fact that the damage does not get affected by difficulty settings, the fact that it deals cute damage, the fact that it's an on-demand knockback collision, the fact that it's unlocked at level 1, the fact that you can do it in the air, the fact that it goes through obstacles, the fact that you fucking get the point. What doesn't this special attack do? It is so fucking good. Like, insanely good. I don't even know how to preface this. It even knocks back heavyweight enemies. Hell, it knocks down Lachesis. For fuck's sake, that's a boss, Kratos. Don't knock the boss down. The attack is simply too freaking good. I expected to write a whole lot of intricacies about it, but honestly, I'm just resorting down to some bullet points, and I hope I can do it justice with the footage that I can put on display. Kratos does a beautiful shotgun blast, and the enemy is sent flying. There, that's all the premise you need. The knockback collision that it creates was such ease, is something to adore for all eternity. I'm gonna just shove this up my ass right now. A special attack like this appears once every blue moon. It is so fun to play around with that I don't even know where to begin. It's amazing to camp with. It's amazing to do it in the middle of combat. It's amazing to do it and then do a cycle cancel to recover your animation and then just do something else right after. It's amazing to do it at the start of the combo. It's amazing to do it at the mid of a combo. It's amazing to do it at the end of a combo. When is it not amazing to do this? Have you like seen this attack? Who made this? There's not much I can say about this. It only gets outshined slightly by the #1 spot. Oh my god, I love this. I love the piercing shots very much. Let's just move on, man. I'm about to finally we reached the #1 spot. At our #1 spot in our humongous Among Us list, we got Divine Retribution lasers done with the Blade of Olympus in God of War 2. This attack is the sexiest attack to have ever existed in a video game. The attack pierces through enemies. It deals solid damage that is unaffected with difficulty again. It deals extra damage from up close if the blade itself connects with the enemy's body. It does a knockback collision. It mutilates enemies, giving you this awesome animation and some extra orbs that you don't need in New Game Plus. It can be done in the air with the same properties. It has the longest range of any special attack in the history of God of War. It can go through barriers if you wanted to, and it can destroy crowds if aligned right. The only downside to this special attack is that Kratos does not aim the blade based on where the enemy is, like the piercing shots that I just shilled over in the last minute or so. But that's like nothing compared to what this shit brings to the table. Like have you seen this attack and its utility and its versatility and its damage and its piercing and its knockback and its collision? It's just the attack deals more damage up close if the blade itself connects. This is a very nice way to increase damage on a foe with this special attack, a sort of deep hit, if you will. This is about it for how much I can shield this attack before getting bitch slapped by Zeus and having the blade taken away from me. This is mine! It's not yours, bitch! I said it's mine! So there you have it, folks. The complete, definitive, and only ranking of all of the special attacks across the God of War franchise. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments, and Extreme Gameplays is out. I make God of War videos, commentaries, combat guides, combo match, challenge runs, speed runs, meme vids, ranking vids, list argues, analysis, high quality videos, comparisons, deep dives, funny vids, chill streams, other games, God of War, DMC, NG, MGR, sexual assault, assault rifle, submachine guns, 9mm, Diddy parties, gay parties.